Right. Hello, hello. What's going on, guys? Fresh out the shower, so excuse the little towel over my shoulders, but I've been making some like more cinematic kind of stuff recently, and I just made this really like emotional, kind of lovey, romantical melody. And I want to share it with you guys real quick just to show you my thought process behind it and how I go about making these. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. So, one thing is that for these types of melodies, I always like having the BPM like real slow. Like, let me not play the melody. I don't really ever make these melodies like with a with a with a fast BPM. It's always very slow, very, you know. I'm trying to think of another word for slow. I can't think of any other words for slow. But let me just show you guys the melody so you see what we're working with. So this to me, when I hear it, I think of a very romantical, but yet tragic kind of relationship. Like this is one that involves love, and the two people who are involved deeply love and care for each other, but there's some sort of tragedy involved. Like this is a very beautiful chord, and it's just strummed a little bit, but there's just some sort of like sadness to it as compared to this. This one is just straight sadness. Like this to me, there's nothing happy about this right here. It almost doesn't even sound good. But this, there's beauty, but in tragedy. And now this part, there really isn't much for me to explain in terms of like my thought process behind it. It just came to me. Like I heard the like it wasn't something that I really thought of. It just intuitively came to my mind. And I just made sure I put it in the right notes as opposed to this. That just doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound like the vibe that we're trying to capture. I could actually see that being more so like a mystery or like a scary kind of thing, but not the vibe. That's not the vibe that we're going for. We're going for romantic. Now, if you notice this chord right here, when I hear this chord, I think of it, it sounds like some of the tension is being uplifted from this one, but there's still some unsolved answers. Like a part of the tension has been uplifted. Like, it's almost like, oh, excuse me, this right here, it's just tragic. Like you're just looking back on the memories or what could have been. This chord right here is like, well, at least you still have this, or at least this is still positive. But wait, there's more. And you get to thinking again. It's almost like you look, it's like this chord right here. Like I'm gonna tell you guys exactly what I see. You look up and you think, well, at least we had a good time together. You know, at least we shared good experiences. At least we have some beautiful memories that will never be lost to time. Then you think, what could have been, what we could have been, what we could have been, what could have happened if we stayed together. You know, like what if you didn't leave? What if this wasn't happening? What do I do now? What do I do now without you? And it's so appropriate that these top three notes are going down in order, like because it's like your head just slowly goes down because you're not bursting in tears, you're not tearing up, you know what I mean? You're not a hot mess. There's just a ton of pain and it's just being bottled up because you gotta move on. You can't make a scene. You can't act a fool. You got to keep this to yourself. You got to keep your composure. That section right there where these notes go up an octave, this to me is very much like energy of, well, I got to move on anyway. And you don't want to move on. You would much rather still be with her or still be with them, but you know that that's not going to happen anymore. All right? And your best option, your best bet is to just keep moving forward and find your path in life. It's like this chord right here, the same one as, it's like a reminder after, you thought you relieved yourself and thought of, oh, we still have some beautiful memories, but you remind yourself like, damn, like it's really over. It's like your head goes up and you're alarmed. You're just like, damn, this is really it. And this version, instead of going, this is really it, but oh well, so be it. Your head goes down and you just keep thinking. And then when it's over here, you get up almost reluctantly, like you don't even really want to move on, but you have to because you don't really have any other choice. All right. And if you guys notice, it might sound like I'm talking a whole lot of BS, but this is genuinely what I picture in my mind. This is genuinely what I see when I lay these notes down. I don't know shit about music theory. All right. I don't know nothing. From what I've realized, I think there is a possibility for every single chord to be combined together. Like this, for example. Like that works. Just not in this story. Just not in this writing. Just not in what I want to tell you right now. This doesn't work. All right, but this can work to tell another story. This is a good combination to tell. Like this is still tragic, but not like a romantic tragic. This is romantic. This is almost like almost sounds like death. That still sounds good. And like that's a very tension, very like unnerving, uneasy. kind of combination or note. And let's mess around with this one. That's mysterious, almost scary, almost spooky. And again, that's not what we're going for. Really, this all just boils down to, I know it's like not the most practical advice. The thing with music though is that like music isn't, there is some practicalities and music is a business, but it's also storytelling. And it's also, music is really heavily dependent on emotions, very heavily dependent on emotions. Like it's very hard, like if you were to tell me, you can't tell me to make something logically. I mean, you can tell me to, lay down some chords, but you can't tell me, for example, make a TikTok beat or make a TikTok song. That depends, bro. There's sad songs on TikTok. There's happy. There's hype songs. There's garbage songs on TikTok. Like there's songs that are literally meant to be bad that are on TikTok. Like that doesn't even make sense. You know what I mean? Like you can't logistically sit here and think I'm gonna make a viral TikTok beat because that is so up in the air. Like music in and of itself is an emotion. Music is almost like a language. It's really its own language, and I think that's why I struggle with like putting it into like English words because I don't even know if I personally can translate it to you in like a way where like, oh, okay, this is good, this is not good. Like all these combinations make sense, just not in the same composition, just not in the same pattern. You know what I mean? Like not in the same thing. All right. Like that's very lovely. That's very romantic. This is romantic as well. But there's a lot less tension in this one. I'm not saying that there isn't any tension involved at all, but this one is like more relieving. This one is more easygoing. Yeah, like this one is much more happy and uplifting. I'm not saying it's like a happy song, but it's a lot less. It's not as impactful as this. Like we hear this and it's like almost like, oh shit. Again, this is relieving and this is like a lot less tension, but there's still some tension. There's still some conflict with chords like this. Like just listen to this. Just listen. Doesn't sound as easy as this. But back to where we originally were. Like that in and of itself to me already tells the story. Like I don't even need to tell you much. You know what I mean? Like I'll break. I've told you guys how like I go about telling this story, but the music speaks for itself. Like let the music speak, guys. Let the music speak. You know what I mean? Like don't. It's like it's almost like I didn't even try to make this. I just let the notes speak for themselves, and I just put them together in ways that made sense. Like this is a good note. I mean, this is a good chord, but it doesn't fit with this. Neither does that. That does. That is absolutely beautiful. That's the intro chord. You know what I mean? Like you gotta just let the music speak for itself and listen, just listen. And that's really all I got. I'll add more onto this and I'll break it down in other videos, but for now, I'll leave you guys with this because I'm pretty sure it's already 15 minutes, which isn't super long, but I don't know. I don't know, man. Attention spans nowadays aren't the best. So I'll leave this where it's at. Thank you guys for watching. Take care. Have a good one.